Thank you, everyone, for being here. We really appreciate everyone coming for our meeting today. It should be like way exciting. Let's go ahead and start with a roll call, please, Joan.
Chris Mortensen.
Here.
Charles Long.
Here.
Michael Schaaf.
Here.
Priscilla Benali.
Here.
Kevin Mitchell.
Here. All right, we have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and begin. We've got Priscilla remote on the phone today. She's on the road, but she's here with us on the speakerphone. Next item is the approval of today's agenda.
I would like to make one change to the agenda.
Okay.
That we move the executive session before we have 6 new business.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Second, please.
Second.
Second by Mr. Long. And roll call, please.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Ms. Benali.
You're up, Priscilla.
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. All right, so the next section we got here is recognition, and for that, I will turn the time over to Mr. Hyatt.
Vote of the elections first.
Oh, I apologize. I'm skipping a whole big section of our agenda here. Let's go. I apologize. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go ahead with the election of our board officers as per policy. So let's go ahead and start with the president, school board president.
I would like to nominate Chris Mortensen for president of the school year 2024-2025.
Okay. And second by Mr. Long. Any other nominations, or should we vote on that one? Priscilla, do you have any nominations?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Roll call, please, Joan.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Ms.
Hold on 1 second. Joan, 1 second. Go ahead, Mr.
I
Mr.
want
Long.
to close the nomination for the president position.
Okay. So nominations are closed. Then we'll go back to roll call, please. I apologize for that.
Okay.
Need a vote on that, Joan?
Acclamation.
It's by acclamation.
Okay. All right. So we go ahead. It's by acclamation. There's only one person, so we go ahead and take a roll call on the president. Okay. Now we can go ahead and do that.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Ms. Benali.
Priscilla.
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. Next item is the school board vice president. Are there any nominations?
I would like to nominate Charles Long for vice president for school year 2024-2025.
I'll second that. Okay, are there any other nominations for school board vice president? Okay, by acclamation, we'll go ahead and take a roll call on that one as well.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Ms. Benali.
No.
Mr. Schaaf.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. Next item is the school board secretary. Any nominations for school board secretary?
Mr. President, I'd like to nominate Michael Schaaf.
Okay, I'll second that as well. Are there any other nominations for secretary? Okay, no other nominations, so it's by acclamation. Let's go ahead and have a roll call on that, please.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Ms. Benali.
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. Okay, that concludes our school board elections. Looks like there's no real changes. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, and you're on speaker with everybody. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mortensen.
Can everybody hear? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say thank you for election of new officers, and I appreciate your leadership and the positions that you guys will be upholding. I just want to express that, you know, as the new policies that are rolling out with the state of New Mexico and the legislators pushing for our leaderships to be present and to be aware of the new laws that are being passed, that we continue to be present at all of our meetings, and even the way I'm doing it now, even if you can't make it, please try to make it by phone. I think we need to look at our attendance as a group. There was even talk about self-board evaluations that I think we need to look at together. I see all these other boards that are getting these Board of the Year awards, and we need to work towards some of those goals. But it takes us to be present and earning our credits, which now we have to. You know, they put it in legislation now. So I just wanted to remind us about that, and thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you, Ms. Benali. I appreciate your input on that. We really always appreciate your service and willingness to do tough things on the board. So we appreciate it. So that concludes that stuff. I'll make sure next year that I watch a YouTube video so I remember how to do this, and it'll go smoother. We only do the board elections once a year, so sometimes it's off to a tough start. We'll go ahead to the next part, is recognition now, and for that I'll turn the time over to Mr. Hyatt.
President Mortensen, members, I'm sorry. Yeah, President Mortensen, members of the board, we're going to invite you to come down on the floor before we introduce all of the changes that we've had this year. Actually, I'll go down too. I'll speak from the other microphone. Again, President Mortensen, members of the board, we had a few retirements this year in central office, and a few position changes, and there's always dominoes that happen and positions that come up and things that take place in the district. And we thought it would be good this year because of the many changes that we've had. We'd like to introduce to you all the new coordinators and directors in positions in central office, and then also new head principals at school sites. Some of them are head principals that have changed to other head principals and things like that. I'll lay those out for you, but we thought it would be nice for everybody to see the new faces for the community and also for the school board. So as I introduce you, go ahead and come on up, shake the board members' hands, and stay up here, and we'll take a picture at the end so we can put it on social media so we can let everybody know who you are and what role you're in. So we appreciate, we have a few people coming from out of the district. Many are from within the district, so they're familiar faces to you. Actually, let's have one of you guys come on up also. Lucky you. You get to be famous also. Deputy Superintendent Hanks and Assistant Superintendents Kate Montano and Mr. Wade Bell. So we appreciate those newcomers to our district. We're excited about them and what they're bringing to our students as far as experience and positive outlook on the work they're going to do this year, and also thank those that have either changed to a similar or like position, or also those who have moved up and promoted to a higher position to even have a grander effect on students and student outcomes in Gallup McKinley County Schools. So first, I'd like to introduce, he was a teacher and is now the head principal of David Skeet Elementary, Mr. Kyron White. And I should preface that these are changes within the last 6 months. So some of these aren't recent. Some of them that you'll meet today are recent changes, and some of them happened in the last 6 months. We thought it'd be good to introduce everybody. The next used to be the dean at Del Norte, and now the head principal of Jefferson Elementary, and that's Connie Cuellar. Next, head principal at Catherine Miller, and is now the head principal at Gallup High School, Mr. Latson, Christopher Latson. Mr. White, stay on up here. You get to stay up the longest. We were excited to have a new head principal because Mr. Latson left, Catherine Miller. We needed a new head principal for Catherine Miller Elementary, and we found a great person, Tyler Oakes from Oregon, who's here with us now. Missing somebody here in the audience. I thought I was going to be here, but I don't see her. Also, we have some of these. There's a few people that are missing today, but we'll still recognize them. We have a dean that is now the Crown, or not Crown Point, was the dean at Crown Point, or in Crown Point, and now the head principal of Rama Elementary, and that is Marlene Velasquez. Next, head principal at Gallup Mid, and is now the head principal at Red Rock Elementary, and that is Lindsay Mingus. She just walked up the hill to her new job. Same feeder school, yes. Also, we have Jessica Wilson, who was the dean in Navajo, and she is now the head principal of Navajo Middle School. Next, head principal at Turpin went to Del Norte, now the head principal again at Turpin. A long time, we really appreciate her. Cynthia Maurer. Yeah, we saved some money on those business cards, that's true. Next, these two individuals are not here today, but we want to make sure that we mention she was a dean at JFK and is now the head principal at Del Norte Elementary, and that is Nancy Post. Also, a dean at Miyamura, then assistant principal at JFK, and now the head principal of Gallup Mid, and that is Gina Spoler. Next, we'll move on to positions inside of the central office, Student Support Center. First, from Colorado, we have a new director of facilities. We arranged the departments a little bit. We call it the director of facilities. From Colorado to us is Aaron Cook. With our continued growth, our focus on data and using that data to improve, we have a new data analyst, and from Albuquerque, we have Kyle Wood. Next, Red Rock has a new principal, so that head principal left, and that is Eva Prieto, who is now a director of instruction. We also have another new director of instruction, the head principal from Jefferson Elementary. The new DI is Sasha Blanco Ramirez. And by way of through high school for many years, head principal, then interim head principal at Gallup High, and now the new athletic director for the school district is Lawrence Senna. going to shake all you and whatever. It'll make it easy for me. Next, we have a new coordinator of personnel, and was the principal at Turpin Elementary. We have Noelle Thomas. And last but not least is a very familiar face, every single board meeting, and other times also, but we really appreciate our new network coordinator, or director, who was a network coordinator, now the director of technology, Andrew Clark. And I'm going to shake all our hands really quick, and then we're all going to come up in the front, and the board in the back, and we'll have a picture. And those who came for recognition, you're welcome to stay if you really, really, really want to, but I'm sure you have lots of things to do back to school as we get prepared for the school year. But I'm not kicking you out. You're welcome to stay.
What's the saying go? You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah.
We appreciate all the new leadership, the movers and the shakers in our district, and we're really excited to see how things go this year. The next item of business is the approval of the minutes from our June 10th, 2024 regular meeting. I have a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Long, second by Mr. Schaaf. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Benali,
Priscilla.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. Next item is the approval of the consent agenda. Are there any questions about items 4A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or H?
Motion to approve?
Okay, second by anybody?
Second.
Second by Mr. Schaaf. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Benali,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Abstain. Next item is our study circle. Is there any public comment for today?
No.
No public comment for today. And so with that, we'll turn some more time over to Mr. Hyatt for our superintendent report.
President Mortensen, members of the board, just a few items, and some of these are listed in the agenda, but I just wanted to publicly announce them for those that are listening. We have obviously this exciting time of the year. Many months have gone into preparing for the 24-25 school year, and we're excited to start school. I'll make sure everybody knows it starts on August the 6th, students' first day. We're excited to see our students back in the buildings. Many of them have been here for sport and other activities that are happening in the summer. We have internships that are also happening during the summer, paid internships. But we're going to have everybody back on August the 6th, and so we're excited to start the school year. One of the things that will also happen before August the 6th is obviously teachers come back a few days prior. This year we negotiated there's 3 days prior to the school year that teachers will be here and staff. But one of those days the district is using to help as far as professional development for our staff, teachers, and other individuals that work with students to make sure that we provide them some additional support in the best ways to work with youth, no matter where you're at, but obviously here also. And we have an expert, a lady named Ruby Payne, who does seminars and workshops and works with districts and educators across the country, if not, I'm sure, across the world. And we have invited her. We'll have a one-day session on August the 5th out at Gallup High School. Board members, you're welcome to attend. It's a great training. She's world-renowned and expert in providing educators skills, help them provide ways into work with students that come from a background of poverty, specifically. That's what this workshop is about. Some of the topics that will be covered, I'm going to let you know a few of those things so you kind of understand what this kind of workshop / conference presentation is going to look like. It talks about providing understandings of origins of anger, anxiety, and avoidance. Gives language to talk, this is to educators, to talk about brain regulation, integration, and emotional competence. Provides tools to educators to address and reduce anger, anxiety, and avoidance. Helps educators manage the classroom dance, quote, that occurs between educators and the students, basically about relationship building and making sure that you're maximizing not only the relationship, but helping those students excel and being careful about how you approach students. Provides the tools to motivate good behavior, identifies the differences in humans' emotional processing, and as a part of that, she has a book, one of her newer books called Emotional Poverty, that's kind of workshop revolves around. Everybody will receive a copy of that book, which is an excellent book, and we can get an extra copy for the board too. It's a really good read. Not only does it help interact with students, but it is human being to human being, some skills in there to help adult to adult even. And so we're excited about having her here.
I'm sorry, when was that again and the time?
August the 5th, it's all day at Gallup High School. It'll start first thing in the morning.
Thank you.
And so we'll bring staff in for that. And I can send an email as a reminder and a little more information too. So. Also, as you know, I hope you get a chance to drive by Red Rock Elementary as it's being constructed up on the hill here in Gallup. It's looking really nice. They're putting a lot of the brick up. The brick was picked to match some of the brick in the community. And we've done a great job, I think, our architects and also our staff here, making sure that's a beautiful building for our students. It's grand looking. It's one story though. Some people keep asking me, is it 2 stories? No, it's 1 story, but it's on that property has some hill to it. You don't always realize that until you actually start building on something, how much elevation there is in the change in that lot. So. Also, I want to make sure that the community knows that we're continuing to provide free school supplies to all of our students. This will be ready again this year. This is something we've done for many years now, but sometimes we still get questions about it. So I want to make sure everybody knows that we're still providing free supplies, all supplies, for students to come to school, and schools will be in contact with parents and the distribution dates for those supplies. In addition to that, as the board has approved a new dress code, we did send that out to parents, but actually I'm going to ask my staff to send that out again to all parents, just so everybody is very aware of what the new school dress code is that the board approved last spring. Again, as we always do, we continue to provide free breakfast and lunch to all of our students, and so that's another thing I want to make sure everybody remembers. And lastly, I just wanted to let people know about actually a couple things. We are marketing better our career pathway programs at our high schools. And so as you drive by our high schools in the near future, maybe not near, but weeks away, but not too long, we'll have new signage in front of all of our high schools, or on all of our high schools, showing what career pathways students are involved in those places. So when anybody comes by, it's very apparent what the students are working on within the school building. We'll continue that effort and provide funding to even do more signage within the school, creating a more professional environment for our students, where it's not just student work and things like that, but it's also showcasing the kind of career pathways students in those schools are pursuing, at least they're learning about and having instruction about. We are always in need of coaches, so we encourage people to continue to look online to help with our students and promote and help students with the activities and athletics that they're involved in. I think we got most of them filled, but there's still a few more. Also, a few teaching positions still open. Every year, it seems that one position versus another seems to be the harder one to get. Sometimes it's English, sometimes it's math, sometimes it's been history or art, actually. This year, we have several openings for science we still need to fill. So if you know somebody that's interested in coming and receiving not only the salary, but it's significant, the largest in New Mexico sign-on incentives. And in some of our communities, actually free housing and utilities. And so our community sometimes is our best marketer for us, advertiser for us. And so we always want to continue to speak to our community because we do receive a lot of people that grew up here or graduated from here. When they hear about opportunities, we see many of them recently come back so they can live in their home community and receive a good living. With that, I'll take any questions, and that concludes my report.
Board members, any questions?
Are we gonna continue with the free admission to the sports games?
Yes, I actually had that one down here, and I couldn't read my own writing, and so I appreciate that, Mr. Mitchell. Yes, we are the only district I've still ever heard of, definitely in New Mexico, but as a way to encourage and continue our support, not only for our students in allowing for free access to all home games, not away games, home games. We're continuing that this school year. Once in a while, there is a fundraiser that happens. The fundraiser is maybe students putting on a tournament to raise money for other activities, and they'll charge for those. But if it's a school-sponsored event, a regular season game outside of a tournament, then access to all of those games are free. And not only is that to help support our students, of course, but also to alleviate the burden on families and large families trying to support their children at their games. So, yes.
Any other questions? Mr. Shaw.
Question, how's the vocational school coming along?
Sure. Mr. Schaff is talking about our new Career Technical Center, Career Pathway School. We purchased property on the west side of town. The east side of town. There's property for the west side of town for teacherage opportunity. But on the east side of town, by the freeway, purchased land to build a new career technical facility. We are in the design process. We're currently working with the state for final approvals so we can continue with the design process. But it'll be a beautiful facility on the east side of town that everybody will see when they head to Albuquerque or outside of Gallup towards Red Rock. And so it's going to be a beautiful facility. We've got a little bit of some renderings already of what it might look like. We've got spaces, programs, and the needs for those all laid out. And so we're just ready for the approvals from the state to continue that process and finalize design and start building. So,
thank you.
What about the teachers then?
So we are looking to build over 100 units of teacherages, housing for teachers in our community. We've had some roadblocks. We had a company that was going to manufacture those that housing for us. That did not work out. We're looking at other options now, and we think we have another lead for somebody to provide that housing for us. Once something solidifies and we actually have a contract in place, obviously we'll bring that to you for your approval for that contract. But then we'll give more information on what that might look like. We're kind of debating between whether they look like apartment buildings or fourplexes or individual modular type housing. We're trying to look for the fastest solution and the best solution for us to move that project along. But that is obviously still in the works and needed in our community.
All right, Ms. Benali has a question. Go ahead, Ms. Benali.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Hyatt. I have a couple of questions and requests. The first one is, can we please receive an updated organizational chart of our administration there at central office? The second one is, we still waiting on a report from the security department. I know that was a request we put in a couple of meetings ago, or maybe it was the last meeting. The last one is, two more. One of the big topics during our New Mexico School Board Association meeting in House was budgeting for our homeless children. And I just wanted to receive a report. I know, Mike, you text me back and forth, but I think it's something that the whole board needs to really know how many kids we have, that we need to continue to fight for resources, financial resources to increase those funding for the McKinney-Vento. So I wanted to receive a report on that. One of our other board goals is special education that we want to improve on. So I really would like to get also, and, I'm just giving these out and you can break them out to however you can on the board meetings. But a report on our special education, I think if there's been any staff changes, if there's what we're lacking with our staff also, but then, what goals have we met and what goals are we still going to work on this coming new year? And I know one of the other things that you were talking about, teacherage, one of the other things we were looking at the time and just kind of discussed nonchalantly was about GMCS investing or looking into a dorm. And I wasn't sure if we were still, if those ideas are still around, if that's something that we would pursue in the future. But those are just a couple of questions I have, and we'll be looking for information on in an email or being presented to us at our next upcoming school board meetings. Thank you, sir.
Priscilla.
Mr. Mortensen, Ms. Benali, members of the board. Yeah, we provided an org chart for the budget process, but it's obviously been updated with names and things like that, so we'll get that out to you today through your email for the org chart. We can definitely do a security presentation. There's a lot of information there that's always valid and important for our community on our processes and procedures for our security department. I know that we've had some conversation about the homeless McKinney-Vento, and so we can provide more information if needed on that. And there's also was an item on the consent about a donation. Usually they try to find a school. This organization tries to give shoes out to a school, and we kind of work with them to provide shoes for our homeless students. And so we provide the clothing, supplies, some medical needs, and other things for our homeless students. And so that's just another added ability to disperse items to those who need them. So we can talk more about that where there's needs. As far as the special education goals, we definitely have some data on that we can share with you. And then as far as a dorm, there's been some loose conversations on dormitories and things like that that are present in other parts of the state, other parts of the county. That could be a future discussion. There hasn't been any work put into that outside of just casual conversation. But if that's a direction the board wants us to look into, then as administration, we're welcome to do what the board asks us.
Another thing is, I would like to see maybe something on absenteeism. I know it's not statewide; it's a big thing, and even nationwide. You know how all the school districts are having so much problem with getting kids to school, and absenteeism being a very big part of, why our children are not succeeding in education like they should. So I don't know what our data shows as what Gallup McKinley County absenteeism rates are and how we're dealing with it.
Sure. Mr. Mortensen, Mr. Mitchell, actually, I'll share a little bit of data for that. Is our attendance rate last year was the highest since the pandemic. Actually, we exceeded where we were even prior to the pandemic, or during the pandemic, which was obviously easy to reach because you're at home. It's a little easier to get online than to drive to school. But so you'll see some of that data. You'll see that we actually have rebounded completely and actually gone above. So we're closer and closer to our goal in Elevate 2025.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, board members? Okay, Mr. Hyatt. Does that conclude your report, Mr. Hyatt? Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead, Ms. Benal.
Percentage that Mr. Hyatt stated, I just heard that it was the highest score since the pandemic, or something like that. Is that correct? Is there a percentage?
There is a percentage, I don't want to misquote it, but you'll have it today, I promise, in the next few minutes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to direct your attention to the notices of communications for our calendar events over the next 2 months, and let you look at that on your own. The next item is I'll entertain a motion to excuse us for executive session.
Motion to recess to executive session.
Second.
Second. Roll call, please. John?
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Benali,
Priscilla, it's you.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes.
1:38.
All right, we'll go into executive session. We'll see you folks in a few minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back from executive session. I'll entertain a motion to return to regular session. All right. Second by Mr. Long. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw, Mr. Long, Mr. Mortensen.
Yes.
2 o'clock.
All right. No decisions were made or conclusions reached during the executive session. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
we're back from executive session.
Sorry, I was having flashbacks there. I sound good, huh? All right, we'll go ahead and I'll entertain a motion on our new business 6A, please.
Motion to approve of the superintendent 2023-2024 evaluation.
Second.
Second by Mr. Long. Roll call, please, Joan.
Mr. Mitchell, Ms. Spinelli,
That's you, Priscilla.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. All right, that concludes today's business. I'll hear a motion from Ms. Benali to adjourn. Ms. Ben-
Yes.
All right, and a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schaaf. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes.
2:02.
It's 2:02. We're adjourned.